So I'm rewatching some old shows. Like I just rewatched Lovecraft Country, rewatching Degrassi with my teenage daughter, The Next Generation, and I'm also watching the Larry Sanders Show. Now, Larry Sanders Show was popular when I was a kid. I think it started in like '92. Some of my favorite things about this show is how much they mention like the other real talk shows that existed because the Larry Sanders Show is a fictional talk show. But they mention Arsenio Hall a lot, Letterman, all this other stuff. And so when you jump into the universe of the show, when they start to make jokes, especially if you're like Generation X or like an older millennial, like you're like, oh, I remember that show. And it's just a reminder that sometimes less is more, and sometimes just being truly authentic is all you need to do. Because I don't think when they were writing this show, they thought about being futuristic. They were just kind of making fun of what's happening in Hollywood. And the funny thing is, I don't think much has changed. People still talk out of two sides of their mouth. People are still overly ambitious, meaning that if you are in a writer's room or you are an executive in a company, like dating someone, it's hard to trust. It just is what it is. But also, I found a lot of comedy gold. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of scenes that the comedians pull off where they are being very serious, but it's supposed to be funny and they're pulling it off. So whether it's someone being jealous or someone being misunderstood or arguments, they have these ridiculously funny moments, but you have to actually be a good actor to pull that off. Like it's not just being silly and slapstick comedy. So saying all that to say that Larry Sanders Show stands up, it holds its weight in terms of being a comedy show, and I understand why it was popular. And I think about it in terms of like shows like Curb Your Enthusiasm and Entourage that you could look at 20 years later and be like, some of this shit is accurate. Anyway, just my 2 cents on comedy and comedy writing and revisiting older shows. Some of my favorite shows are shows like Martin, but I like watching stuff that like was popular, but I didn't understand why and understanding why.